After 8 years, Democrats once again control the House of Representatives. That'll be official in January, but only by a pretty slim margin. Now a new battle begins, and that's the battle over the Democratic Party's message. What do they stand for? Is it open borders and socialism, wages in the middle class? Who knows what it is, or will it just remain Trump is evil, Republicans are racist? Is that enough? Brian Dean Wright is a Democrat, former CIA officer, who joins us today. It's a sincere question. In my view, there's the identity politics wing of the party and the economic populism wing of the party. I know who I'm rooting for. Who do you think is going to win? What is the message?
Who's going to win? That's the big question. What we saw yesterday was a divide between the heartland Democrats and the coastal Democrats. So the heartland Democrats, a lot of those folks from Michigan and Pennsylvania, even places like Kansas and Oklahoma,
yes,
who are saying, let's focus on the basics, right? Good wages, decent jobs, affordable health care. That's the message that I think most Americans want to hear. What we are hearing, however, from the coastal folks is something very, very different. This is the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez democratic socialism, which is lots of big government, lots of programs that we can't really pay for. We want to abolish ICE. We want to, not really address the immigration issue because we want open borders. That is the other wing of the party. Which one will win? Here's my concern of why the Alexandria Cortez folks will win. We've got DNC chair Tom Perez, who says that she is the head of the Democratic Party. She's the future of the Democratic Party. We also have Obama, who actually endorsed her as well.
Wait, can I say, is that because she's impressive, or is it because of the way she... Right, I'm not being mean, but, no, but she's young, and she seems like she doesn't know very much at all, and so I'm beginning to think it's only because of her race and gender, which is not a good way to make these decisions on, because it's irrelevant.
Of course. But this gets back to, I think, with the philosophical, the ideological struggle that's happening within the party right now, and that is this. Are we going to be a party that tells people you have to vote for Democrats because you're a woman, because you're gay, because the color of your skin is dark? That is one wing of the party. In fact, you hear it from people now in Texas criticizing white people who didn't vote for Beto. But saying thank you to folks who are of color.
I'm just confused because here Beto O'Rourke is this white guy with a fake Hispanic name running against an actual Hispanic guy named Ted. But if you voted for the white guy against a Hispanic guy, you're a racist? Like, how does that even... I'm too literal for this world, I think.
Yeah, well, you and me both. And I can tell you, as a Democrat, it's incredibly frustrating to watch the party cannibalize itself in the midst of this debate. Because at the end of the day, if you look at this from a health of the democracy, we need multiple parties. We need good debate.
Yes, I totally
and Democrats
agree.
Can't be a part of that conversation when we are all so far off in the left field that we're talking about open borders and people have to vote a certain way because of their gender. So that is really the cost, the consequence, and frankly, why Republicans should be upset about this as well. We all should be concerned when a major party in this country is so unhinged that they're not giving the people a choice.
I think that's a really wise point, and for that reason, I am rooting for the Democrats to get sane. I don't think it doesn't help anybody if one party falls apart. Thank you very much.
Always a pleasure.
Great to see you. The president tweeted this today, and I'm quoting, "In all fairness, Nancy Pelosi deserves to be Speaker of the House by the Democrats. If they give her a hard time, perhaps we will add some Republican votes. She has earned this great honor!" Exclamation point. Not clear if that was entirely sincere. Will Democrats go with Pelosi again, or will new leadership take over? It's not a small question. Dana Perino is the person we turn to answer tough questions like this. Of course, she hosts the Daily Briefing every day.
Small guest,
Dana.
big question.
So what? I mean, because it's not simply about who gets the gavel. It's about what is the party's message.
All sorts of things. Look, I think President Trump has thought this through. He is elevating Pelosi for a very good reason. One, yeah, he's right. She deserves it. The Republicans made her the villain of every ad across the country, and she still was able to pull out the win that she said she would be able to do. So on the merits, he might look at her as a worthy competitor, okay? However, what also does this do? This makes all of these new Democrats that she was willing to let them say that they would never vote for her. They promised in their districts, I will never vote for Nancy Pelosi for Speaker. Guess what's about to happen? The very first vote that these new members of Congress are going to be asked to take is whether Nancy Pelosi should be Speaker of the House. And they might end up breaking a promise, their very first promise, on their very first vote in order to make her Speaker.
Now, why would they do that? I mean, Nancy, and I'm not attacking, I'm actually, I kind of agree with you. Nancy Pelosi's hung around, and, why wouldn't it be Nancy Pelosi? But But why would people go against their pledges?
So if Nancy Pelosi had been able to get like 65 seats, this wouldn't even be a question, because she would say, I don't care if there's 24 or 30 of you who say you don't want to vote for me. I've got a cushion large enough, then it doesn't matter to me, so it doesn't matter. But it's only 30 or so plus. I think what might end up happening is, because the Democrats have no consensus, you just had this conversation with the previous guest, there's no message. What are they doing? Who are they? Who's going to be the leader? It's different than choosing a minority leader who is going to lob bombs all day long. Right. This one is important about the future of the country and the future direction of the party. And so I think that's why it makes a little bit more of a difference. If you remember, the Republicans said that they were going to repeal and replace Obamacare. They end this election cycle with Obamacare more popular than it was before. They didn't keep their promise on that vote. And that tends to enrage the base. I think what might happen, though, is that Nancy Pelosi will become the caretaker speaker. She will be there for a while with a promise that she's going to work on a transition to somebody else, maybe the next generation, something like that. But they will probably end up having to cast their first vote for her.
And I honestly can't wait for that. I mean, there's always an upside, and you were always the person who points it out.
Look, and the good news is.
The good news is, exactly. Dana Perino, great to see you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.